Alright, Icy's back from the shop. Sorry that I've been away from so long. So we got the new Roush fascia right there. Bought it on American Muscle. And it's got 2 lower fog lights and of course the 2 in the center. So what I've done so far is I've wired up the bottom one. It's not terribly difficult. Comes with the bumper if you buy it. It's like a $300 difference if you buy the fog lights compared to not. The push bumper is off, probably gonna come back on, probably a different style, a little bit custom, maybe even painted. Haven't decided quite yet. So I'll show you inside the engine bay now. So we see the wire here, part of the harness for the 2 bottom fog lights. The kid actually called for the box that contains the relays to be screwed in. I don't really like screwing into body parts, especially the metal ones. That's just my thing, and I feel like it's fine here. You know, put a zip tie right here and it'll hold on fine to that. But right here, the wires, these actually go inside. The Roush kit does come with the switch. It's a simple fog light switch. The switch that comes with the kit, rocker switch. Pretty simple, straightforward. But I think I'm going to switch out for this one. Either get the harness or just solder the wires onto here. And this acts the same way. And the little ring right there lights up blue. It'll look cool, it'll be different. So the bottom fog lights right there actually work with the top 2. Now this being a V6, I don't have the top 2 fog lights yet. I'm not trying to make it look like a GT, I just really like the fronts, and I really like this Roush front. And for those that want the Roush front or a GT front, to swap it from your V6 to this GT front, you have to make sure you get the bumper, the grille, and the shroud that goes around it, and all the other hardware is the same. So today, to do that, we got in the mail this GT replacement kit from Starky products, and it even comes with an OEM switch right there. And that switch just goes and replaces the switch inside that you would already have right there. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna pop this guy out, swap that, and install the harness. So again, here's the harness for the bottom fog lights. It comes with the relay box. I'm just gonna zip tie it. I don't like to drill into metal. And here we go. And it's under this cover now. The cover's dirty. The whole car needs to be cleaned again. But here we'll take this up. Get these pins out of the way. Little push pins. Get this up so we can access the bottom fog lights and the harness. Alright, now that you see I got the radiator cover out of the way. Grounding point for the new wiring harness. These actually go to the harness that connects to the actual fog lights, the center fog lights. If you guys need any help doing that, I'll tell you the one side is a little bit harder to screw on. There's 4 screws on both sides of the fog light that actually just go right into the bumper. This side right here where it actually curves is a little bit harder, so you're gonna have to just finesse your way through it. This side over here is pretty simple. So yeah. So now we're just gonna, I plugged these together because I didn't have the other wire, just to keep all the moisture out and any rain, all that stuff. So we're gonna go ahead and undo that. And I'm gonna open the wiring harness kit. Alright, so what comes in the kit? So we've got our OEM switch to replace the switch we have inside. Comes with all the settings you normally have, fog, and I believe automatic. Headlights that work with the sensor that's already in your car. In case you just want to always leave them on and let the car decide, or the sensor decide when the lights come on. So here we have zip ties, and we've got a fuse and the wire clamps to make your connections. And then we got our actual harness right here. It already comes with the relays. Not as nice as the Roush one, but I mean, it's fine, I guess. It's not like you really worry about how well the relays look. I'm sure you can just tuck this in a corner and pull them out whenever you need to replace them, if you need to replace them. And lastly, we've got the instructions right here. And if you see here, here's a list of the parts: the wiring harness, bag parts, OEM switch, and the tools we're going to need is a flathead screwdriver, ratchet or socket, adjustable wrench, small knife. So here they're going to walk you through step by step, and they even show you pictures of what you're going to have to do. I'm probably going to deviate from some parts, but that's just me. So the first thing I like to do when introducing new wires or rewiring something is I like to pick a route in the car without even looking at the instructions, if there are instructions, and finding what best locations I think would look nice, in my opinion, and where I want the wires to go. So that's how I did the bottom harness for the fog lights. Now the top harness for the fog lights, I'm gonna do it kind of similar. I'm gonna run it through here and along the side of the vehicle right here, and they are gonna go in through that hole right there. That's where the previous ones go. I'm just gonna take them through there because that's a straight shot through the firewall. There's no cutting required at all. I haven't read the instructions for this kit yet, and it might deviate from that. They might want you to go underneath the vehicle, but that's a pretty straightforward thing right there for me, in my opinion. Alright, so let's get started here. I can sneak the wire underneath it. I mean, you could technically just slide this underneath, but see how it splits. That's usually a little difficult to wiggle around, so it's just easier just to disconnect it, in my opinion. It takes nothing but a couple seconds. Alright, so I put the cables underneath the radiator mount. I'm not going to tighten anything down until I have everything positioned right. one thing I did notice with this wiring kit from Starky is they do give you plenty of wire to work with. So I kind of had to wrap it around just to eat up a little bit of space so it's not hanging out too much. I mean, it's not a problem because they give you zip ties. Same thing on this side. I kind of wrapped it underneath the radiator support bar here and connected it. So now we're going to do our connections to the fuse box. So right there, that's the fuse box. Alright, so it should be an 8 or a 10 millimeter. No, it's an 8. 8 millimeter socket here. We're just going to disconnect the negative here. We do that just by loosening this spool on the side. There we go, just tuck it away. So now we open up our casing. So you guys can see, I'll detach that. I'm going to undo this guy right there. So now it's very important that you don't touch anything that could be grounded because we still have the positive there. You could disconnect both batteries if you'd like. The process is similar to disconnecting the positive cable as well. You're going to need a long socket for that one. So now we have here our long 10 millimeter socket. And we're just going to undo this guy here. There we go. And now we're going to slide over orange cable here that has a wire ring over that, and we're just going to retighten the knot. So right now you could take your time and position the wire whichever way you want. So if you want to go a long way around, this way or this way, I think here is fine. You retighten that. You don't want to get this, I don't know if you guys can see. So I'll just take it out. What you don't want to do is get this pinched or flex it too much. That's where it's probably soldered onto this ring right here. But you want to make sure that you do everything possible not to break that connection. So we're just going to retighten this now. And it's tight. Alright, before we go ahead and reconnect the negative terminal on the battery, we're going to have to ground this. Probably just be able to reuse one of these 2 points. I know it looks like a lot of wiring right there, but you just want to make sure it has a good solid connection, and that's one of the points on the vehicle that has a good solid connection. You can drill into it, maybe even use the radiator points if you want, or even one of these side panel bolts right here that hold on the fender. You can be as creative as you want. There's no right or wrong way to do this as long as you make every connection. Alright, so let's go ahead and do the negative. Alright, so let's go ahead and do the negative. I'm just going to use this point right here. So we're going to undo that. Now when you're doing this to your Mustang or any other vehicle, you're probably not going to have so many wires already attached. Go ahead and retighten that, and make sure that the wire isn't standing up. If you gotta undo it, and just slide it underneath just to conceal it a little bit more, or if you want to just conceal it underneath the leg or the bracket of the headlight, just do whatever you think is right. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually just going to slide it underneath this main harness right here if I have space. Does not look like I have space. So we're just going to slide it underneath, collect everything we need to ground right there. And we'll just go ahead and put that bolt back in. I'm going to make it as clean as possible, if that's your thing. If not, then it doesn't really matter, but to have a clean wiring layout is a lot easier in case you need to get to something or maintain something, or if you would ever have to rework on it. But, I mean, that's not too bad. I'll probably just zip tie this like that to keep it all consolidated. So the kit doesn't actually come with a fuse in the bag. The fuses are already in here. So if we see here, that's actually a fuse tap. I just thought it was a regular fuse. I didn't see that little tap right there. But here, if we undo this housing, so we'll just pry these open and I'll show you the fuse inside. They already come with two 5-amp fuses. I would assume one for each fog light. That's them. No, this isn't a 5. This one's actually a 15. So one must be straight to one probably goes to the power, the other one goes to the lights or the switch. I'm not sure, but we have the two relays right here. So what we can do is, now that we have that set up, we're going to go ahead and take out the fuse that this one's supposed to go to. Now we're going to take out the fuse number 39. So there's no numbers here, so how do you figure out which one's number 39? That's when you get your manual out, or you can just get the instructions out of the Starky kit. And it actually points to you which one it is right there. So it would be this round 5 right there. So the best way to get these out is with that special tool that either comes inside the interior fuse box or the outside fuse box. Or if you go buy one, there's little plastic tongs, or you could just do a needle nose plier. Alright, so with this one out of the way, we're going to install this fuse tab right here. Press that in, make sure it's in the whole way. And now we're going to connect this red wire here. So this actually, fuse number 5 that we saw here, takes the place of this fuse. And you can just lay down the wire and connect it. so with this red wire installed, we're just going to go ahead and put that wire there. There's a little bit of wiggle room, so you can fit that in right there. Alright, so next what we're going to do, we're going to start to tidy all this stuff up here. We're going to have to find a place for our relays to go, and our fuse boxes. So what we might end up doing is we're just going to go right there, take our fuse box cover, put that back on. Just going to make sure this doesn't get pinched. It's going to get pinched a little bit. So we got to readjust the orange cable here and move it a bit to the side so it doesn't get pinched. Just move it a little bit closer alongside the box. Right there, you see. Originally, it was there. We're going to push it over a little bit, just to give it a little bit more space right there so we make sure it doesn't get pinched. So this red wire is just going to go alongside that. The red wire is just going to go alongside the orange one. Right there. And there we go. That's not getting pinched too badly right there. So now what we got to do is find a position for these wires to lay in where they're not going to get too pinched. So you may just have to leave it like that. Bring these guys up. We'll see. Alright, so what I did, I'll take you out for a closer look, is I actually pulled out some of the slack I had over here just so I could lay these perfectly down. And then I just push those alongside the bottom. And once we get to cleanup phase where we know everything is going to stay in its permanent place and not shift, then we'll go ahead and zip tie everything. At this point I wouldn't zip tie anything, just in case you need to pull out some slack or adjust the wires. You don't want to have to cut those zip ties off, even though they give you plenty. You just want to make sure you have enough to complete the job. Alright, so now we're going to go and we're going to move over to the other side. We're going to still leave the battery disconnected right now. We've made all our connections, now we got to do the switch. So we'll just come over here. And we're going to work out on taking that switch. Alright, so to replace this switch with this switch, we need to take out this entire panel. So what we're going to do is unloosen this. Just a simple pry will undo it. It's just those clips. We're going to use our long 8mm socket here. And there's one screw at the bottom that we're just going to take out. You can take the entire panel out if you would like to. That screw out, put that aside. Now we can just wiggle that out. see your cluster, this is the guy we're after, so we're just going to undo that connection. And we're simply going to push, and we're simply just going to push these pins. So there's actually 2 pins, one at the base down here, one on the side. So you're going to have to do it simultaneously. And there's actually a 3rd one on the opposite side. So that was pretty quick and easy. So it's these pins that we're pushing out. There's 3. And if you see one's here at about your 11 o'clock position, then about your 4 o'clock position, and one at your 6 o'clock position. So now we're going to take our new switch that comes with the existing settings, as long as the fog light and the automatic settings. We're going to see here, it is a nice finish. It is OEM. Right? You can even see the Ford Motorcraft logo right there. You can see there, comparison. We're just going to push this guy back in the same way it was before. Make our connection there. Alright, so now that we have our switch there, we're going to fish the wires from the other side that we already previously pushed in through that hole. And with this kit, they graciously give you enough to be able to do that. So we're just going to go and you don't even have to get underneath the vehicle to do this. Because of how much wire they give you, you can just reach your hand back in there. And I have pretty short arms, so anyone should be able to do it. So we're going to take these wires and we're going to connect them to the gray and purple wires here on this switch. And how we're going to do that is with these quick connects that'll slip into here after we connect the wires. Alright, so what we're looking for are 2 wires. The first one is gray with the purple stripe. The second wire is purple and, yellow and tan. So what we're going to do is undo or just push back this electrical tape right here. Just enough so that we have enough to work with. And here is the purple wire with the gray. And here is the yellow and tan wire. What we're going to do is we're going to connect these wire quick connects here to the appropriate wire. So what we need is a gray wire with a purple stripe for the first one. And there we go. Now you're going to want to space these apart a little bit so that you don't have 2 right on top of each other. So if you need to even push the electrical tape further back, that's fine. You can push it as far back as you want and you can grab it from as far back as you want. So here's the gray wire with the purple stripe. I'm going to go ahead and just tuck that right into there. And we're going to push it back a little bit, just so it's not too close to the switch. Right here is where a good set of pliers will come in handy to just squeeze that open. Squeeze that shut and it'll make the connection. So the next tap is going to go on this tan with yellow wire right here. Finger strength here. You can just grab your set of pliers here. What you're going to do is just place the wire in there, close it, and you want it to snap shut. Now you don't want to squeeze the pliers too hard because you don't want to break the actual quick connect. So as long as you're there, you got that connection solid. Now the next wire we're going to go after is this tan with the yellow stripe here. So we're going to take another quick connect here. We're going to go about an inch away from the other one. That should give us plenty of space. And we're going to do the same, repeat the same process. Just make sure our wires nestle right in there. And we're just going to go ahead and squeeze that shut with our pliers here. Now with that being done, now we just connect these two. Now the blue one is going to go into the tan and purple wire, and that's just going to slide in like so. And same thing with the other wire. You're going to slide this one into the purple, the red one into the purple and tan one. That slides in. There we go. So now you can take this electrical tape that you push back and bring it all the way up to the first wire here. You don't want to yank on it, you don't want to rip any of the wires, but right there it's nestled up there, it's pretty good. And just place this back. And there we have the fog light and the automatic light settings, as long as our existing settings that we had before. So we're going to replace that screw. Get it started by hand. Once it's tight enough, just go ahead and ratchet that back in. And there we just go ahead and push our panel back. And there you have it. Now that all the connections are made, now all we have to do is reconnect the battery and clean up all the wires, zip tie them, make sure they're properly positioned in the manner that you want. So let's go ahead and do that now. So we're just going to go back over here to our battery. Reconnect the negative cable to the negative terminal. But first we're just going to ensure that everything inside the fuse box stayed connected. Relays are good, fuses are good. So now we're just going to go ahead and tighten. It's actually a 10mm. My bad. So now that we're tightening this up, we made sure all our connections are good. Made sure the connections inside the car are good, and then we finally just went ahead and tightened this guy up here. Alright, so now the manner we're going to actually test this out is normally you would have the center fog lights to test, but those haven't come in yet. So as I said in the beginning of the video, the bottom fog lights that you see at the corner of the Mustang actually run off the switch on the top. So now what we're going to do is go ahead and try that and see if they turn on. Alright, for demonstration purposes, I got these two extra fog lights I had just lying around because I don't have the center ones yet. So let's see if they go ahead and turn on. And there we go. We got the two top ones working. Let's try the bottom two. Look at that, all four fog lights are working. However, I thought all four were going to work at the same time. Yeah, we might have to do a little customization there just to get that to happen. But the two in the center work, and then when we flip the switch, the two in the bottom work. So that's always a good thing. Alright, thank you for joining me in this episode. I'll see you next time. I'll try to get more videos out there more frequently. We'll do an install video on the fog lights, the center fog lights that is. I'm going to put some Oracle LEDs in there to match the white LEDs on the projector lights. Alright, well, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. See you next time.